Good Friday morning to you. Sir Rick here. BCB Live. We're the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave. Love your outfit today. Got a little Route 66 going on. Dallas Cowboy hat going on.
I got a little, getting my kicks on Route 66, hoping for another fantastic win by the boys this weekend. I'm pretty excited.
So we're going to stick with this. So the men here are busting their tail, and I'm going to show you proof of it right here. This was taken this morning. Let me tell you something. We're working so hard in here that we got to have a fan blowing on us, brother. Blowing on us when we're, when we're sitting down going to the bathroom.
We're sweating. It's the only moment break that we get. We got to have that air.
Hey, can we get some AC in the back? Can we get some AC in the back, as I think is what they're trying to say?
Okay, I guess. Who carried the fan in there? I mean, seriously.
Hey, yeah, you're going to be here for a minute,
This is gonna, that just might be a hard-working area.
Yeah, so somebody looked in there and took a glance and was like, oh, this is going to be a long one. Picked the fan up, trudged back in.
I'm hot. I need to cool off.
You know what?
The infrastructure bill did not pass last night in the House. It looked like, from what it seemed, that the progressives are leveraging their reconciliation bill, trying to make sure it get passed first, and that they're holding on to it they're like, hey, we need this bill passed. So, because there was a little fight on the floor. You know what? I'll tell you what, it needs to get done. This infrastructure bill is important to all of us. It's important to the country. We've got to get it done. We've got to get it passed. We just had a little bit of problem. I truly believe they just didn't have the votes yesterday.
First, we have Shaq, right? Shaquille, it's just Shaq. Everybody knows him by Shaq. Retiring from what?
From being a celebrity. I'm not sure I understand this whole deal. I'm not sure I understand. I think he just wants to be, I think the quote was, I don't want to be a celebrity anymore. I just want to be remembered for being nice.
For being nice. And I think he's referring to having, the entourage following him, taking phones from people that they took. That's not who he is. He's tired of being, I guess, associated with that group. So he's retiring. Retiring, okay. And you know what? Let's celebrate that retirement from Shaq.
So what does that mean? Does that mean he no longer wants to be famous? What is that? No longer wants to be recognized?
He wants to be known as a nice guy.
It's kind of hard not to recognize Shaq when he walks in the room.
Well,
right?
You know what? He is retiring, so I think it's now our job to let him no longer be a celebrity. And you know what? He's going to go.
We have what we saw here in the States, right? We have McDonald's not having any food, grocery stores not. Right. Stocks are empty. Drive safe, Dave. What do you think about that?
Well, this all stems from another driver shortage, another supply chain choking off at points and not being able to get the supplies that they need. And there's a lot of debate among people in UK if this actually stems from the Brexit agreement, pulling out of the EU. And because a lot of people that worked in the EU, when you're in the EU, you could move around visas and work in other countries and then go back and forth. But because when you move out of the EU, you're no longer allowed to do that.
Yeah, so talks also about 5,000 visas going out to truck drivers to allow them to come inside to work for a few months. But it shows you how delicate, I don't think it's just the United States. I think it's all these economies are right now regarding to the bottlenecks, right? Freight and driver shortages, employment shortages. We see it everywhere. I think it's starting to really show. Drive safe, Dave. Think about this right now. The bottlenecks are real because, here it is now over in the UK, they have the Army personnel getting ready to start driving the fuel truck. There's not a fuel shortage.
No.
And I agree with probably what they're saying. They're saying there's not they just can't get the fuel there.
It's a supply chain problem.
There you go.
It stems, again, from not being able to have either the personnel or the equipment or whatever the case is to move it into place. And I totally agree with you.
Pac-Man also retired.
Well, okay, so that's a little bit different. He's actually retiring from getting in the ring and boxing, right? Not necessarily from being famous, just not hitting anybody.
So by far, probably one of the top, say, 3 Filipinos out there, right? And here he is. He's retired. Name me 2 more that are more popular.
I can't.
You agree?
None that aren't in prison. But
You have the,
Okay, to get back on topic here. So Manny Pacquiao is retiring from being a boxer so that he can run for office in the Philippines.
Yeah, 2022.
So he is
President.
currently a senator in the Philippines, but now
Right.
he is going to pursue the rest of his political career and help out and run for president of the Philippines.
he too has a lot of shoes. You know, carries a lot of shoes with him as well. So no, running for presidency for the Philippines, pretty cool. And he does say this: "Hey, I'm going to fight poverty." And here he goes. He warns that corrupt politicians will go in jail. Not pretty strong. Pretty strong.
As they should.
Do they though ever?
Yeah, as they should. In that whole point of corruption, as they should.
All right,
Although I gotta say, if Manny Pacquiao came up to me and was like, "You're gonna go to prison," and I said no, I lose that fight. I lose that fight every time. The guy's gonna get you down. The guy's gonna take you down.
You can just move around. He's a retired boxer now.
Prevent fatalities. Kind of piggybacking off of last week about shifting the focus from fault to preventable on these accidents. And so we've listed all the critical reasons, the codes. These are codes when we say critical reasons, critical events on these. These are things that the Highway Association, when they category and investigate these accidents, this is what the things they put on their codes. And so the last category is some associated factors. And number one was brakes, traffic, prescription drugs. We've talked about that, that, hey, it's not just illegal drugs you have to worry about. Whenever you get a prescription drug, you need to report it to your company. Let them research it. Make sure it is not a DOT on their list that gets tested for in the randoms. And then you always need the dosage as well. And then too fast for conditions. You know, we talked about that as a decision. If you're going too fast for conditions, tailgating and all that, that is also associated factors. And as a side note, vehicle critical reason was involved in 8,000 of the 78,000 trucks and fatality accidents. So again, the vehicle, keep doing great inspections. That's one that could be easily eliminated, as well as the speeding and the tailgating. All those, you know, you take them away, and man, you reduce fatalities by over 80%. And here, you know, a lot of the roads are under construction. It makes it very hard to see the lanes. You know, they've got the little reflectors there, but it's not the same. Great job by the driver. The speed was down, able to stop well back. Look at all the road we can see. We always talk about, we like to see the road when we stop between us and the vehicle in front. Just a really good job by this driver in some very difficult conditions. It doesn't look difficult with the sun shining, but them lanes are hard. And you got to remember, even if you know what the lanes are, doesn't mean that vehicle around you knows and can also start drifting over.
Yeah, you look at that van up ahead, two vehicles up ahead. I don't think it knows which lane it's in. It goes kind of, is it a lane in the left or is it not a lane? Moves over, comes back in. You know, when you get to what you're saying, these construction areas slow down. And when you have these, I mean, these are hard to see where the lanes are.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, the only indication that I have is that's yellow tabs on the left indicating a lot, you know, and not showing it as a lane. And I don't see those in the white center stripes and the white ones on the right. But that one's a hard one to judge right there. It makes it really, really difficult.
And we talk all the time about speed and space management. Here, this driver, the 70 miles there, doing 5 to 6 miles under the posted limit. People going away, and then here comes a speeder, not going anywhere, as you can see up ahead. But great job by this driver. And what we really want to stress here is, you know, we have this false sense of reality of time that we're saving or losing all this time, and we're really not. You can just see that here. You know, this is, you know, over 10 or 15 seconds, and what? There's 50 feet, 100 feet separation that's grown. You just don't lose what you think you're losing. It's okay to do that 5 miles under the posted, and it gives you that reaction time. It allows, in this case, for this guy who's going to do something stupid anyway, as you can see, and you've created that space for them. Great job.
I look at this video, and I see the only vehicle that has the proper spacing is ours. Yeah. I look at this, and no matter what you're doing, no matter what's going on, the only vehicle with the proper spacing is ours, and it's a great testimony of what's going on here.
Well, you had to look up, but there's a bicyclist coming across a really busy highway, an intersection. Whew, great job, and the bicycle actually nods or gives a little wave to this driver for letting them through. But again, that's even dangerous because, you know, that cyclist cannot see behind that truck and trailer. So and then here comes that guy flying, and then he takes off. So
Yeah, you just got to be looking. Just all these videos show you just have to be aware of your surroundings. I mean, because they just change all the time. Whether it's a bicyclist, whether it's a somebody on the side of the road.
Right.
We had the disabled vehicle on the side. Then you had the cars moving over, merging over into your lane. We've got to be careful, and we have to have some more patience.
Yes.
Patience is key, especially in the weather, whether it's the rain or the snow. Let me tell you, patience has to happen, and when it starts to snow, right? When that weather's there, you are probably going to lose some time.
Yeah.
And you have to just recognize what you don't want to lose is life. What you don't want to lose is life.